I don't know why, but I feel a little nervous this morning because, let me get this camera right, because I'm gonna share my art with y'all, and it takes a bit of vulnerability for artists to show their artwork. That's good. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm gonna show y'all today what I did in 2020 during my dark night of the soul. But first, I'm gonna have a smoke, I'm gonna have a chat, and then I'll have a little show and tell with y'all. Okay. Woo! Nervous. Today feels like a new day to me, like the start of a new chapter. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I feel so excited. Ah, yeah, yeah. So, y'all, tell me how your week has been. I mean, I wanna know who watches my videos. I wanna hear from y'all. So, like, leave comments, cause I always look at them. I always read them, and I just really want to know if what I'm saying relates to your story or if it's helping you, because it just keeps me going. It keeps me inspired to keep on sharing, because that's why I share, because I want to help people in their journey. I want to inspire, uplift. Yeah. So and sometimes the things I share are not uplifting, but they're real, and I think it helps because it lets other people know that they're not alone in what they're going through, and that everybody is going through the same shit. So yeah. And yeah, when I was going through my dark night of the soul, I felt alone. I felt very alone because I had no peace in me. I felt empty. So I didn't even have myself there for me. I mean, I did, but myself was very, very hurt and wounded and almost completely just gone. Like, I was that far gone that I couldn't really even hold myself. Like, there's like nothing left. My cup was completely empty. So what kept me going in 2020? It just so happens that the world went through what it went through, but I started going through my dark night before all that shit happened with the world. But what kept me going? How did I get through it? Of course, meditation. I journaled. I had a lot of solitude. I was really silent for the whole year. I would make myself get up early in the morning, meditate, and go jog. And I'm not someone like that just goes jogging, you know. I made myself jog, and why I did it, I would speak incantations to myself, like, you're doing a great job. I would just uplift myself. be my own like coach or cheerleader. And after I'd get done jogging every morning, I'd feel great. I felt like taller. I felt strong. And another thing I did is I read books by Eckhart Tolle, by Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra. And yeah, that's what I would do in the morning. So I would wake up, meditate, go jog, then I'd make me breakfast, which was like a half plate of like grapes and nuts, and some coffee back then. I don't drink coffee anymore. And I would read a book, and I would write in my journal every morning. Beautiful, right? Just a beautiful routine. So doing this in the morning just made me feel so amazing, and little by little I started to feel better and better. And then one morning when I was jogging, I heard something say paint portraits. I was like, paint portraits, okay, paint portraits. And then I saw a vision of Ralph Smart from Infinite Waters. I was like, okay. And then I like got the message to just honor the mentors that were there. And then I was like, ooh, I want to paint Eckhart Tolle. I want to paint it huge. I had this great vision, and yeah, so that was my passion, because in 2020 I felt empty, and when I wasn't reading, journaling, meditating, I was with my family, and I just was full of pain. I couldn't really feel present. I felt no joy, and my life felt meaningless. It had no real direction. And so when I got this message one morning when I was jogging to paint or to do portraits, I was like, yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go do it right now. I'm gonna get my sketchbook and my color pencils, and I'm gonna start sketching Ralph Smart. And it took me 2 months, but I did it. And I did this just by looking at a picture. I hope I get it in the camera all the way. But so yeah, I hope y'all saw that. But so it took me about 2 months, but it gave me so much like joy, and it kind of made me feel proud of myself, like a mother proud of their child, and like, oh, look what you did, that's so amazing. That's how I felt good about myself, like I accomplished something that day. Like every day I would work on it and to complete it, and I felt good that I was doing it every day and getting better and fine-tuning my craft. And then when I completed it, I felt great. Look at this. Took a picture. But then I felt empty again. I felt a void. Once that evolution of that creative process came to a stop, then I felt empty again. So I knew I had to keep on going with this endeavor. I wanted to do Eckhart Tolle, and I wanted to paint this time, and so I got some acrylics because I already had some acrylic paint. And I'm gonna take another smoke. Wish I brought my sweet tea. But I struggled with this. For some reason, I struggled with painting a face. although I had done it in the past, there was this huge block up. And don't laugh, but this is what my first painting of Eckhart Tolle looked like. I said not to laugh. So that was very frustrating. I actually painted that without my glasses on or my contacts, and I was just like parts of it because I don't know, I just struggled with it. And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to focus on his features a little more. So I got my sketchbook out and I said maybe I need to study his face before I paint it. Let me see if I can find it. I think I had some tape on the page. So then I drew, I hope you guys can see that. I drew his face in my sketchbook to study his face. I was like, maybe that's what I needed to do. So I did that. And then I just tried to paint his face again. And this time with acrylic. And this is how I felt painting with acrylic. I did this like angular, I don't know, stylized thing. Kind of like a puzzle. And then I was like, you know what? I really want to get into oils. That's what I really want to do. It's more archival. I really want my sweet tea. And then there was this show, Portrait Artist of the Year, and they were actually doing this thing called Portrait Artist of the Week on Instagram, and they would get celebrities and they would sit and an artist would paint, and they would have like this talk, and then the world was invited to paint along a portrait of these famous people, and then upload them to Instagram, and the judges would pick out the ones they saw that were unique or great. And so, although I was never picked, it was like something that had my focus. Like I was already working on that, and I was excited to share my artwork and what I can do. So this is the first one I did. I can't remember his name, and I don't even think it looks like him. But I remember I painted this, and I struggled. I struggled with it. But I remember turning it upside down and painting it. So I learned a new skill that if I paint a face upside down, I can see the features more clearly. And then I kept going, and this was another week. I wish I could remember these people's names, but I'm horrible with that. I kept going. I think it was it every week? Yeah, it was every week. There's another one. I know she's a DJ. And it was beginning to get a little stressful for me because I was doing these portraits every week, and I mean, that's all I thought about. That was like the only way I could like stay focused, stay out of my head, stay out of bad thoughts. It took me away from reality and put me in this place of creativity and almost nothingness. Just like when I was painting, it was just the painting and nothing else around me existed, and I could just do that alone. So, but it was getting to a point with the Portrait Artist of the Year that it wasn't fulfilling me, and it was kind of stressing me out to have that deadline. So I wanted to paint someone that is world famous. So I Googled who's the most famous person in the world, and Dwayne Johnson was the first name. And so I painted his face. And this time, I wanted to get the likeness as good as I could. I wanted to get the likeness the best that I could. So I used a grid. And it's kind of complicated to describe how I use a grid. But I used a grid to do his face this time. Instead of like the other ones, I just did it straight on. Like I looked at the picture and I drew it. But with this, I used a grid system. And so yeah, I was working on getting the likeness as good as I can. So after that, it was nearing the end of 2020, and I wanted to do a self-portrait. So at that time, like I said, I felt really empty, but I had hope. And I remember on gray days like this, I felt so empty. I felt so even scared or terrified on these days. Like it felt just like so empty. But I always felt like there was hope. And so I painted this portrait and I named it A Place Beyond the Pines, because back then the only like vision that would really get me through these dark times was living on the beach and just watching the sunset. So I had this vision of living on the beach and painting the ocean and having peace. So this is A Place Beyond the Pines. Yeah, my hair was longer then. I've cut it since then. But yeah, I had hope. I had a lot of hope. I knew I was getting better. I felt better at the end of 2020. That took me about a month to paint, and I was really intricate in the details. I wanted it to be as realistic as I could. I wanted it to be as realistic as I could. I was really, really focused on it. But then I wanted to loosen up. I wanted to loosen up, and I wanted to paint something really quickly. I wanted to not be so tight anymore. I wanted to loosen up. And so this is a picture I took of a family member of mine. And I remember it was a day the sun was setting and we stopped to watch the sunset, and the light reflecting in her blue eyes was like so beautiful. And I had to capture it, and she didn't even know I took the picture, but this is the very last portrait I painted, I think, in early 2021. And then after that, I started sketching my visions, because I started having visions in my meditation, and I just started sketching visions in my sketchbook. And it was about this time too. So my message today is to just start. Just start. Don't worry about being perfect. If you have something on your mind that you want to do, and you make all these excuses that maybe I'm not going to be good enough, or maybe it's not going to work out. Might as well not even start. But at the end of the day, you feel empty and you wish you would have started. That means you're supposed to be doing that. So just start. That's like 90% of it. Just starting. Just getting the canvas out, or whatever it is that you want to do that's calling you. Just start. Don't worry about it not working out, because guess what? It's great if you start and you mess up. That means that you can try again and you can keep perfecting that craft, that skill. You can keep building it, keep growing it until you've mastered it. But it takes starting it first. That's the biggest step. So just start. And be okay if it's not perfect the first time. Because the next day you can wake up and you can keep trying. And you will feel so good and proud of yourself when you do it. I love you all. Peace.